Last year, TCS hired 44,000 freshers from campuses across India. And this year, they are planning for 25,000. That's a 40% cut in just a single year. And here is what makes that number strange. TCS isn't struggling. Their revenue actually grew. They are not cutting freshers because there is no work. They are cutting freshers because they need fewer people to do the exact same work. Go to any NIT or IIT campus today and you will find something that would have been unthinkable 5 years ago. Final year engineering students who can't find a job. Fewer than 1 in 4 students at several top engineering colleges have secured offers this placement season. Something fundamental has shifted in India's IT sector. And this video is going to tell you exactly what it is, why it's happening, and what it means for the millions of people whose entire career planning depend on this industry being what it used to be. India's IT sector employs 5.67 million people. It's worth around 300 billion. It contributes around 7% of the country's GDP. For 3 decades, it was the engine that powered the India's middle class, turned tier 2 cities kids into the homeowners, put siblings through school, built entire colonies of flats in cities like Pune, Hyderabad and Chennai. But here is the thing. That engine was always built on one very specific idea, and that idea is now under serious threat. To understand what's happening, you need to understand how Indian IT company actually made its money. It was never about building the next Google. It was never about patents. It was never about world-changing products. It was something simpler and, in hindsight, something more fragile. Here is a basic idea. A company in Germany wants to digitize a supply chain. Hiring German engineers for that job would cost around 80,000 to 100,000 euros per person per year. So instead, they call Wipro or Infosys and say, "Can you handle this job for us?" Infosys says yes. They put together a team of 40 engineers in Bangalore. They charge the German client in euros and they pay their engineers in rupees. And they keep the profit margin in between. The client saves the money, Infosys makes a profit, and an engineer has a job. Everyone wins. This is what built the Indian IT sector. Not the technology, not innovation, not intellectual property, but cheap, skilled, English-speaking labor, doing work that Western companies didn't want to pay Western prices for. And for 30 years, it worked brilliantly. Now here is where it gets uncomfortable. The type of work that Indian IT company was built on, writing and testing code, processing data, reviewing contracts and managing customer support queries, managing customer support queues, migrating database, creating documents. These are the exact types of works AI tools are now automating. Think about what a basic software project looks like. A client wants a web application, and an Indian IT firm would put 6 people on it, 2 writing code, 2 testing it, 1 managing the project, and 1 handling the customer communication. 2 or 3 weeks of work built by an hour. But today, with AI coding and testing tools, 1 experienced developer can do what 3 used to do. The testing cycle that took weeks now takes few hours. The documentation that 2 junior engineers spent days writing now generates automatically. The customer still gets their application, but the IT firm now needs 2 people instead of 6 people. And the timeline is just 5 days and not 15. That sounds like a progress. And it is. But for an Indian IT companies, it is a slow disaster. Because Indian IT companies doesn't charge for the outcomes, it charges for the time. Fewer people working fewer hours means less revenue, even if the quality of work goes up. The very thing they were selling is now shrinking. A 2025 report estimated that AI is causing roughly 2 to 3% of the annual deflation in traditional IT services revenue. That sounds small, but for a 300 billion industry, 2% is equivalent to $6 billion every single year. TCS, Infosys, Wipro together shrinked approximate 25,000 to 30,000 jobs in the fiscal year 2024. Entry-level roles across the Indian IT sector has already declined by 20 to 25% according to the EY analysis from 2025. And the campus recruitment pipeline, the thing that every engineering student planned their life around, has collapsed. Every year in India, roughly 9 lakh engineering graduates enter the job market. The IT sector used to absorb a large amount of chunk. Now, only around 3 lakh new IT opportunities are being created annually, and most of those require skill that most fresh graduates simply don't have. The market saw this too. When AI agents become capable enough to automate knowledge work at scale, India's IT stock index dropped by 6% on a single session in the early 2026. That's $2 to $3 trillion in a market value, gone in hours. Foreign investors who treated Indian IT as a reliable growing sector for 2 decades started asking the same question everyone on the ground was asking. Is this model still going to work? Here is what I want to be clear about. The big IT firms are not stupid. They have seen this coming for a while now. TCS AI service revenue crossed 2.3 billion in the most recent quarter. Infosys has formally partnered with OpenAI and recently announced what they are calling as AI-first framework, positioning themselves from a supplier of engineers to a supplier of AI-powered business outcomes. Wipro has launched similar initiatives, and this pivot is working, at least partially. AI revenue is growing fast, but here is the most uncomfortable paradox they are stuck in. To win AI business, they have to prove they can do more with a fewer people, which means in short terms, cutting the very workforce that built them on. Every AI project they win shrinks the headcount requirement. Revenue per employee goes up, but the total billing goes down. They are gaining on one side but bleeding on the another. And the transition isn't clean. It's slow, messy, and the people caught in the middle are the mid-level engineers, the testers, the BPO workers. They are actually paying this cost. So, if you are an engineer student right now, and if you are in your first 5 years of the IT career, this matters to you directly. The entry-level job that used to feel like a safety net, the testing role, the basic coding, the support function, that safety net is gone. Not weakened, it's completely gone. The job hunting is a real trend now. A 2026 survey found that 57% of the IT professionals are holding on their current job and not applying somewhere else, up from 45% the year before. People are afraid to move, afraid that if they leave, they wouldn't find something else. That's what a fear looks like in a sector that for 30 years told everyone there would always be more jobs than people. And I'm not going to tell you this is fine. This is actually not fine. 9 lakh graduates competing for a 3 lakh jobs. That's a structural problem that doesn't fix itself overnight. But I want to be honest with what actually helps versus what doesn't. Learning a random programming language because someone on the YouTube said it's the future, that's not a plan. Completing 3 AI courses and adding them to your resume, that's not a plan either. The engineers who are actually finding their foot right now have one thing in common. They are figuring it out how to use AI tools to produce output that would have required at least a team. They are not competing with AI, they are using it to become worth more than any individual they could be replaced by. That's the gap worth closing. The honest take, India's IT sector isn't dying. The $3 billion number is still real. The global demand for technology services is still real. None of them is going away. But the version of the sector that existed for last 30 years, the one where scale and cheap labor were the only strength, that version is over. The companies that survive this moment won't be the ones that outsourced better. They will be the ones that figure out how to sell intelligence and not ours. And for the engineers and graduates watching this, the ones who navigate this shift are not the ones who know the most about the codes. They are the ones who understand business problems, who can work across discipline and are already using AI as a lever, not treating it as a competition. The old model didn't require that, and the new one does. What do you think actually happens next to the India's IT sector? I genuinely want to know. Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this video changed the way you see things, subscribe to this channel. We cover the real story behind the India's biggest industry, the stuff most channels skip over. I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.